In section 8.5, we're going to look at the complex plane and the trigonometric form of a complex number. Some of you might have been introduced, I know we cover complex numbers in Math 102 here at the college, but the imaginary unit I is defined as I equals the square root of negative 1, where I squared equals to negative 1. The set of numbers of the form a plus bi is called the set of complex numbers. We refer to a as the real part of the complex number, a plus bi, and we refer to the coefficient of I, which is the b value, is referred to as the imaginary part of the complex number. Notice that this is a set that actually contains the set of real numbers as a subset. If b is equal to 0, then we see that the real numbers are just a subset of the complex numbers with b value equal to 0. On the other hand, sometimes we'll refer to numbers as being a purely imaginary number if they have no real part, meaning if a equals to 0. So complex numbers of the form bi are sometimes called purely imaginary numbers. We can oftentimes graphically represent a complex number, z equals a plus bi, in what's called the complex plane. We think of the horizontal axis, in this case as being the real axis, and the vertical axis as being the imaginary axis. To plot the complex number z equals a plus bi, you go a units along the real axis, positive to the right, negative to the left. You then go up or down b units, given by the imaginary term, positive being up, negative being down, and that allows us to plot the complex numbers in this two-dimensional looking complex plane. For example, in problem number 1, if you wanted to look at the plots of several different complex numbers, 3 plus 4i would go 3 along the real axis, and then up 4 on the imaginary axis, which would be right here. Negative 1 minus 2i would say go 1 to the left on the real axis, and then go down 2 on the imaginary. So that complex number would be right here. Z equals negative 3, which we can also think of, if you would like, as negative 3 plus 0i, would have us going left 3 units along the real axis, and then we wouldn't go up or down any. And then lastly, negative 4i, which is the same thing as 0 minus 4i, has no real part, so we don't go left or right any. We simply go down 4 units on the imaginary axis. This would be the plot of z equals negative 4i. The next thing we're going to talk about is the absolute value of a complex number. The absolute value of a complex number is also sometimes referred to as its modulus, and it's going to be denoted by modulus of z. It's got almost like the absolute value looking bars associated to it. But when we have a complex number on the inside, it's referred to as the absolute value of a complex number. Just like how absolute value of a real number was its distance from 0, the absolute value of a complex number is going to be its distance from the origin in the xy plane. If z is represented by a plus bi, we can plot that. Its distance to the origin would be represented by this distance here. We can form a right triangle where this length is given by the magnitude of the real part of it, and this length would be the magnitude of the complex portion of the complex number. Pythagorean theorem would then say that the modulus, or the absolute value of z, is going to be given by the square root of a squared plus b squared. So the absolute value of a plus bi is equal to the square root of a squared plus b squared. Let's go ahead and take a look at an example of this. In example 2, they want us to plot z equals negative 2 plus 5i in the complex plane, and we also want to find its absolute value. Negative 2 plus 5i should be right here. And now we want to find its absolute value, which is going to be representing its distance from 0. The absolute value of z, which is going to be the absolute value of negative 2 plus 5I, is going to be equal to the square root of negative 2 squared plus 5 squared. This is going to be the square root of 4 plus 25, which is equal to the square root of 29. If you wanted to give an approximation for this, I'm perfectly fine with the exact value. If you wanted to give the approximate value to two places, it would be about 5.39. Again, what that means is that the distance from 0, 0 to negative 2 plus 5I would be 5.39. Oftentimes, one of the things that's helpful when we have a complex number is to define its complex conjugate. The complex numbers a plus bi and a minus bi are referred to as complex conjugates. So the only thing that they differ in is the sign of their complex part. You have essentially each complex number here. Each of them has two terms. If you're simply changing the sign in between the two of them, that's what gives us the complex conjugate. In example 3, we are asked to find the complex conjugate of negative 3 plus I and plot both of them. So if z is negative 3 plus I, let's call that z1 maybe, then its complex conjugate would be just nothing more than negative 3 minus I. We can plot both of these. Negative 3 and I would be here. And negative 3 and negative I would be here. So those are these two complex numbers are complex conjugates of each other. And you can see what their graphs look like. It doesn't take much to determine the relationship, but when you plot two complex conjugate numbers, they will be reflections across the real axis from each other. To add and subtract complex numbers is a pretty straightforward operation. All we need to do is add and subtract their corresponding real and imaginary parts. And in many ways, it's almost analogous of like combining like terms from algebra. For example, in number 4, if I wanted to add the complex numbers 1 plus 3i plus 2 plus I would begin by simply adding the real parts. 1 plus 2 would give us 3 plus, then I would just simply go ahead and add the complex parts. 3 and positive 1 would give us 4i. So we get 3 plus 4i. If we want to subtract complex numbers, then we can simply begin by just distributing the negative sign into that second grouping. This would be negative 3 plus I. So it's that age-old motto of changing subtraction into addition. Now we can go ahead and combine like terms. The real parts, we have 4 minus 3, which will give us positive 1. And then a positive 2i and a positive I will combine to give positive 3i. The next topic we'll come across is the distance formula in the complex plane. Suppose we had 2 points, let's call them z1 equals a1 plus b1i, and z2 equals a2 plus b2i. Then the distance between those 2 points in the complex plane is going to be d equals the square root of the difference squared of their real parts plus the difference squared of their imaginary parts. Let's find the distance between 2 plus 3i and 5 minus 2i. So I'll take the second real part, subtract the first complex of numbers real part. We need to square that. I'm going to add the second number's imaginary part, which is negative 2. Subtract the first number's imaginary part, which is 3. That also has to be squared. We're going to get the square root of 5 minus 2 is 3 squared, plus negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5. That's going to be squared. This will give us 9 plus 25, which would be equal to the square root of 34. And if we want to approximate this, the square root of 34 is approximately equal to about 5.83. So in the complex plane, the complex numbers 2 plus 3i and 5 minus 2i would be a distance of 5.83 units apart. There is one more thing we will cover in this section, and this is the midpoint formula in the complex plane. If you have two complex numbers and you join them via a line segment, the midpoint of that line segment would have coordinates a1 plus a2 divided by 2, which is the average of the real parts, comma b1 plus b2 divided by 2, which would be the average of the imaginary parts. And if we're thinking of, well, how does this midpoint fit into the complex plane? Well, this would be some other complex number, and its real part is that a1 plus a2 over 2, and its imaginary part would be the b1 plus b2 divided by 2i, and that's that location of that point. So it's the average of the real parts, comma, the average of the imaginary parts. In example 6, they want us to find the midpoint of the line segment that joins the complex points 4 minus 3i and 2 plus 2i. According to our midpoint formula, I take the real parts of the two complex numbers, that's going to be 4 and 2. I add them together and I divide by 2, comma, I take the imaginary parts, that's negative 3 plus 2, divide those by 2, and we get 4 plus 2 is 6 over 2, comma, negative 1 over 2, which we can simplify to 3, comma, negative 1 over 2.